Hey, my name is Kris Haney. Here to tell you my story. Um, to start off, let's do some introductions of everybody that's here.
I'm Suzanne Swanigan. I'm Chris's sister.
I'm Suzanne Haney, Kris' mom.
And I'm Eric Sinclair, Chris's friend.
And all these people have been with me on my journey. So, I guess to start off, we'll say that this journal is about my battle with cancer. And I guess the first thing I would point out is I get asked a lot about what grade is your tumor or what stage, and I have no idea what people are talking about. It's a medulloblastoma, usually not seen in adults, and it's marked by its I think it's called the grade of it, and it's grade 4, which is fast growing. So past that, I guess I'll move on to before the surgery. So around December, I started getting these what I thought was sinus headaches.
December of which year?
2015.
2015. And you were how old?
Oh man, you make me mad.
It's 29, right?
Yeah, 29.
Okay.
And so I was taking sinus medicine and all that. It just would come on and I get a slight headache for a few seconds, then it'd go away. So for a long while I didn't think much of it. Then as time went on, it got slightly worse, to the point where I was having trouble functioning at work. So I eventually had to go to urgent care. By the way, let me point out, my doctor was horrible. And so I was sort of forced to go to urgent care.
This wasn't the first time you'd seen a doctor about this, was it?
Well, I had tried to see my doctor about it. And there was no go with that. So
No diagnosis?
no.
I thought you said he said it was something like a bladder infection or something, and he...
No, that's what urgent care told me.
That was urgent care. Okay, I'm skipping ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So I went to urgent care. They were telling me I had a bladder infection. There was something else they told me I had. But they gave me some pills. Said I should be good in a couple of days. And I was, to a point. So that was in like April or so. And then I had I went on, but then had an episode at work where I couldn't walk. I was tired, and I wanted to go get home So I called my parents for a ride and all that. Left my bike at work. That was when I decided that I should probably go to the hospital. But I didn't at the time. The real kicker was some signs at work. Kids started beating me in checkers. And I couldn't catch a fly ball. So yeah, I went to had my dad take me to Rush. And they told me I had a big lump inside my head.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
I remember you telling me this at the time, that you couldn't, I'm going to have trouble describing this probably, you couldn't stand there upright and spread your arms out and then touch your nose. Like you were so disoriented or something.
Well, when I was in the ER,
yeah,
they gave like I don't know, like the drunk test.
Yeah.
Sobriety test.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I can do most of those tasks. Touching my nose or walking in a straight line. Balance.
Right.
Couldn't do anything of those because basically they did some scans and there was a growth in the spot that controls sort of the motor functions. And so they told me that we had to get that out right away. We didn't know that it was cancerous or anything. Just the fact that there was some kind of growth there. So we did surgery not the next day, but the day after. And afterwards, they didn't bestow me with superpowers. I thought that was pretty rude. But
I remember that next day how quickly you seemed to be recovered, though. Like you were talking to me normal, like just a couple hours later. Right. I remember that, and just being shocked. Like, I mean, we had the real fear that, like, man, this dude's going into brain surgery. He may not come out the same. Like, you never know. But you came out and you were, like, with it. Like, you were a little drugged up, medicated for a little while. But after that, it was,
for the most part,
almost back to normal. It's crazy. Yeah.
During this initial surgery, were they able to remove the entire thing?
No. Most of it, though. I guess we'll get to more of that in a second. But I guess hospital time was okay. I had a lot of visitors. Stash of food. So that was all good.
How painful was your recovery?
Yeah, how did you feel at this point?
I was fine, especially after the initial surgery. But
a gnarly scar.
Yeah.
It's like probably like a 9 or 10 inch scar, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but pain wasn't a huge factor. But then when I was on dexamethasone, which helps take down the swelling. But when they sent me home, they gave me like 3, which maybe last a day, and then I started getting pounding headaches because my head was still swelling, I guess. So I went back. In fact, I went to Ingles, and from Ingles, got transferred back to UIC, or back to Rush, and I guess the headache didn't go away until I had my spinal tap, which is not the most comfortable thing ever. But they drugged me up real good. So the headaches went away and all that.
And they did the spinal tap because of the headache?
No. They did the spinal tap to see if the tumor was in there, I guess.
Relocated?
Yeah. Something like that.
So the fluid would tell them that, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that was why you did it.
So that was that, and mine was there for like 2 or 3 days.
Yes.
And then they sent me home again, and everything was fine until my head started leaking. Sort of bloody, but I guess pussy.
And what time frame was this? What? You remember what month it was?
June. Yeah, it was June because we were just about to start summer camp. So
you're saying it was leaking out of your scar, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it wasn't hurting or anything. But the doctor told me to come back in. Turned out I had an infection, and so I had to do a round of antibiotics. But they put in a PICC line, and I was able to do it at home with home care. And that was the thing because I had to do it every 8 hours, and plus I had to take things out every 2 hours ahead of time. So it wasn't a good time for sleep for that period, I guess.
You couldn't get any rest because you were your doctor and your nurse.
Yeah, pretty much. But that ended in about August. Like I said, my doctor was terrible, so I was able to re-enroll at UIC. I couldn't go to Rush because they didn't accept my insurance. But set up appointments and to go to UIC and for oncology. Then what the next major thing was radiation, which if there's something I don't want to do again, that's definitely it.
Wow.
I did it was proton therapy, which is supposed to be easier and
supposed to minimize the side effects, right? Compared to the traditional. Right.
Right, yeah. And if it did, it I don't want to know what regular radiation would be.
Yeah, because you turned a whole different color, didn't you?
Hmm?
During radiation. It burned things on the inside as well as the outside.
Oh, yeah, my face sort of, forehead sort of broke out. And my back was getting darker.
How did it affect your day-to-day activities?
Basically, I stayed in bed most of the time. After a while, after the build up, it just made me tired. And also I had some double vision at the time, so that made I didn't want to walk around with an eye patch all the time. So
I thought it looked pretty cool. It's just me.
So you're saying it was just in the one eye?
No, yeah, it was double vision. So like one eye would both eyes had fine vision, but they were
not working together.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You could see so well, you would see things twice.
Yeah, I guess. No, yeah, it was more like one eye was seeing above what the other one was.
Didn't this happen before radiation, or am I mistaken there? Because I thought I visited you one time in Champaign for I think Amaris's birthday, and you had on an eye patch then. I thought. Yeah,
it started before. I was just saying, like,
you didn't want to be out and about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about your weight loss at that time?
Well, the weight loss wasn't until after the radiation.
Okay.
During it, I had a couple of problems. With I guess it was nausea, and my throat closed up, and so for a while I had to do a full liquid diet because I couldn't swallow or anything, or couldn't swallow solids. And so after that ordeal, I started at 210 pounds, maybe 215. I was 160 by the end of it. So
I can pick them up myself.
yeah, so from there I had a little break, I guess, before I started chemo. So I had time to rest from what was it, the end of October to the new year, before I started back. But I had an incident on, it was Christmas Day, wasn't it?
Was it Christmas?
Yeah, when I couldn't breathe.
Yeah, it was. It was Christmas.
And I had to go to the emergency room because I couldn't breathe. And that's important for later because I think it's connected to what we later found out. But they put me on a breathing machine, and I was fine by the new year, I guess. So in January, Well, a couple things happened. Started chemo. And I went back to work. Which was fine for both. The chemo I didn't think was too strenuous. Possibly had to do with the schedule, because I would do my chemo in the clinic, and then 3 weeks later, I would do a overnight stay in the hospital to do the second part of it. And I was still pretty good on that.
Compared to the radiation, what was it like?
Oh, a breeze. Chemo was definitely a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I would still get fatigued or something like that, and but it wasn't anything I could push through at the time. And that was going good until about June. The lights went out. By lights went out, I mean in my eyes. So my vision changed. The doctors told me it was radioscopy or something like that. But basically it was caused by the radiation. Just took a while to
take effect.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? And you've explained it to me before, but something like scar tissue or blood, something in the backs of your eyes or something?
So yes, there was that. Mm-hmm. But what the real problem was that I had no blood flow to my retinas. There was old dead blood in it, but no blood flow to the retinas. And I was told then that it wasn't likely to have regular vision again, unless that blood flow returned. But to your point, yeah, I had a couple of laser treatments to remove the dead blood cells in there. And then I had a couple of eye injections, which were not fun also. So chemo got put on pause. And work got put on pause while they tried to fix my eyes. So I think I had 4 or 5 eye injections over the course of that summer. But once they were through with me there, had some scans, talked to my oncologist, and the tumor was gone. I hadn't finished the chemo schedule, but the doc told me I didn't need to. So that That was a
victory number one.
Yeah, sort of. Well, what did you guys think
at the time?
Yeah,
I remember talking to you on the phone and just like shedding tears. Honestly, just being
it was
so
over.
hopeful at the time, and hoping it would, and just I guess just proud of you, really. You just kind of take everything in stride, and you just handle things so well, and and I know at the time we talked about how it, doesn't mean it's over forever, and yada yada, but I was just proud of you for fighting to that point. I mean, and I remember that conversation at the time. And I think I saw you like a month later, and you were, out and about, because I think we had just moved to Indianapolis, and you came to my little housewarming party there, and your vision was not good. I remember playing what's that game, Washers, with you, and like telling you like throw toward my voice and things like that. You know what I mean? You actually weren't that bad, but you were able to move about, and that was no problem at the time. So yeah, it's kind of what I remember.
So yeah, that was a good time, I guess, and it was rolling around to the new year, and I was getting ready to go back to work. Take some practice runs at it, and I couldn't move. Well, I can move them, but my whole left side kind of went dead. So, like, almost like I had a stroke, which also, by the way, I've been asked that a whole lot of times, especially in the hospital, if I had a stroke. So, again, went into the hospital to see the oncologist, took some scans, and a tumor was growing in my cerebellum, and that was causing this sort of deadness of the limbs.
Was that the same area that the first one was?
No.
Okay.
So this one, like I said, it was on the cerebellum, which still controlled motor function, but just sort of in the what do you call them, limbs?
Yeah, limbs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it was just your left side at this time that had kind of went dead, you said, right?
Yeah, at the start, yeah.
And you were on a walk or something when it happened, right?
Well, I took a walk, and my legs started getting funny. As I was coming back, but I didn't think none of that. I thought I was tired from the walk. But it was the next day. I think I was going to work out with you, Mom, and my whole left side was just blah. I don't know. Just dead, kind of. So we went in to oncology, new tumor, and sort of had to develop a plan for it. And so we did. Had a plan to take some actual chemo to attack the tumor, and what was it, Asper, whatever they injected my eye with. That was the same stuff they wanted. They did IV treatment with to sort of stabilize the tumor, keep it where it was, keep it from moving, keep it from growing. So we decided on that as a regiment, and we did that for 3 or 4 months. And then I had these toothaches, like really bad toothaches. And it turned out that I had a abscess in my wisdom tooth.
About what month was this then?
Oh, I don't know, like
It's
the
cold.
end of February.
Yeah,
it's cold.
early in the year.
So we're at February of 17? Or 18?
18. We're at February of 18.
Okay,
Yeah.
February of 18. Okay.
So had to get that taken care of. Had a oral surgery. Basically, abscess means that that I was, growing pus inside. So to drain it, they kind of just put a hole in my chin.
Yes, they did.
Hole
You had a hole in his room.
Yeah. And they pulled out the wisdom tooth. But because of that, I had to stop my chemo
Again.
because I guess the medicine that would stop the swelling of the tumor would interact and affect yeah. So the chemo was on hold. I did the surgery, and I believe it was off to Shirley Ryan, I think, after that.
Yep.
For physical therapy. What is OT?
Occupational therapy.
Yeah. Occupational therapy. All that good stuff.
Vision therapy.
Yeah, that fell under occupational. So it was doing that, and actually was doing good until like one day I couldn't make a full fist, what we found out was that the tumor moved and sort of diminished what I could do as far as with my left side.
So to be clear, the medicine that you were on was supposed to keep the tumor in place, right?
True.
And you had to stop it because of the tooth issue.
Right.
And so as a result, the tumor moved, which caused your hand to not be as functional, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I just point out, before I went to Shirley Ryan, and I was in the hospital for the abscess. One excitable nurse was giving me a suppository, and she was overzealous. Didn't lube it up right, and ripped something. What it was exactly, I don't know. But so carrying on, I was at Shirley Ryan about a month and a half. But instead of getting better, I was kind of getting worse because of the tumor. So finally, it was about to get released from there. But I had it was a really weird experience. Had a bout of confusion, and this was the last day. And they believed that I had a UTI, which causes confusion sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
So you can actually remember that you couldn't remember at that time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it was just because the guy had just woken me up. But to be on the safe side, they sent me over to Northwestern.
Okay. So that's why you transferred that day. John was planning on coming to see you, right? And
yeah, I think
he
so.
showed up there and you were there.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, gotcha.
So I got treated for UTI at Northwestern. And they started me on exterior catheters. Then from there, went home. And then what happened was we were gonna finally start back with my chemo and IV. But they needed a urine sample. And so when I was able to do that, there was blood in the pee. So which was an indication of UTI. So I went to the emergency room. Didn't get admitted for UTI, and they were treating me for that. Then I had a guy come in, a doctor, and told me that he wanted to look at my butt. I guess the tear.
You had sustained at Northwestern? Oh no, Shirley Ryan.
No, UIC.
Oh, okay.
He wanted to look at that and make sure everything was all right. So he wanted to do a colorectal surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that happened.
Is that painful?
No. I don't think any of the surgeries I had were really painful.
They put you out for each one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The abscess, that was a little painful in the aftermath, I guess. So they did that, and to my recollection, after they did that, I had a hole in my butt.
Well, you always had one of those.
No,
you had an additional
hole.
Mm-hmm.
So you are a double a-hole.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take that. So, what was after that? This is where it gets fuzzy.
Your chemo was on hold for that also, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They had to change chemo meds.
Yeah, we had decided to just change it overall. And so we changed it to, you remember what it was called, Mom?
When you went from Everidge to, what's the name?
No, I think Everidge, it was the one.
Okay.
That I was on.
Okay.
The one that I took every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was on a chemo that I had to take every day. Which turned out not to be doing anything.
As far as what?
As far as affecting the tumor.
It wasn't doing any shrinking.
Wasn't doing any, shrinking. It wasn't preventing it from moving around or anything. So we stopped that. And he proposed the chemo I'm on now, but I didn't start it yet. So I was at home, and one night I had breathing problems. So we go to the emergency room. I get a scan and find out that I have pulmonary embolism, which I guess in layman's term is I had a blood clot in my lung. So there was nothing to do about that. It had to break up on its own. But started taking blood thinners.
Is this the part that you said may connect later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think that was the same problem.
Just reoccurring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And something I just wasn't aware of because when it happened on Christmas, there were no scans or nothing. They just gave me breathing treatments.
Because they knew you had asthma.
Right. Yeah. So, I guess from there, went back home. And then my testicles started swelling. And so I had to go back to the emergency room for that. And it turned out that I had an infection inside my scrotum. And also UTI. And if you notice, I've said that I had a UTI multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And that was mostly because the external catheters I was using. I'm pretty sure it was because when I would pee, whatever was excess went back into my urethra, and that's what caused those problems.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about that, Kris?
Yeah.
What exactly is an external catheter? Because the only catheter I can think of is like
the one they put inside you.
Yeah, the one that's very not comfortable. Is this different than that?
Sort of. Basically, it catches your pee. But instead of
self-adhesive, it can be self-adhesive.
Yeah, some of them are. It's just like putting on a condom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, they call them.
Yeah, so it's a condom
catheters
attached to a tube.
Gotcha.
That goes to a bag. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it basically catches your pee.
Sometimes.
So I had a surgery, and they did some scraping, some scooping, and basically, well, Mom, you could actually see it. But they pretty much put a hole in my scrotum to let it drain. But it saw fit for me to go home, so I was able to go home. And I would say that one of the more surprising and disconcerting things that has ever happened to anybody is my mother coming up to me and asking me how my balls felt. That's something that's burned into me.
I have no recollection of that.
So that was in June?
Early part of summer.
Yeah, I think that was in June, and then everything was going. Oh, while I was in the hospital, they changed my catheter to a regular one. And that was working fine. They gave me some antibiotics for the UTI, and the swelling was going down on my scrotum. So everything in that sense was looking okay. Then I had a nurse who didn't exactly know what she was doing, and she tried to change my catheter and didn't do it right. So I had to go under, because I didn't want to feel my catheter being pre-put in. So that happened. And again, everything was going smooth until I had to get it changed again. And so, previously, this is all being done at one hospital at Ingles. Mm-hmm. But my hospital is UIC. So we went to UIC. And I guess the urologist there didn't actually listen to what we told him. And he just pulled it out. But then he couldn't put in a new one. Because I guess because of what the doctor did at Ingles, yeah. That there was more to it than just pulling it out and replacing it. So, and in his infinite wisdom, he set up time for him to fix it surgically. But a week from that day, which at the time we figured, okay, we don't really have any choice. So yeah, we just sort of went home and we meet up for the procedure. But once we got home, we soon found out that wasn't gonna work because every time I peed, it wouldn't come out of my penis. It would come out of the hole in my scrotum.
Came out of your nutsack.
See, did you hear that? Proof.
Who said that?
Proof.
The whole world heard it.
It's horrible.
So yeah, we went back up to Ingles. And they did it like the next day.
Yes, they did.
Wow.
They did it the very next morning.
Yeah, so
this is another surgery then? Like
they put them under. It's not technically not surgery.
More like
Kris?
a procedure.
Yeah. But they do.
How many procedures are we at this point?
Oh wow.
I mean, honestly.
Close to 10.
I would say between your
one
eye
body.
ones and the UTIs and the
if you
obviously
wanna,
the brain.
Too many for one body.
If you wanna, separate them.
I mean, you had another one after the infection, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they cut out the infection.
That's right, because they had to go back in.
I mean, it's unreal.
Yes, it is. So the body has sustained a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it's still holding up pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Because the latest is my right arm. Because I was kind of getting to be the only limb that was functional. But now I've lost some functionality in it, and that hopefully with therapy, I'll get back some functionality. So.
So.
And I think that's.
Well, didn't you get recent? You didn't mention your most recent brain scans, did you? Yeah, my last
MRIs were positive as far as dissipating the tumor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've got scans again next month, and we'll see again how if this
more shrinkage.
Right, yeah, if this
chemo
round of chemo is effective.
Mm-hmm. So your current chemo, you said, is pill form, right?
Yeah.
And it's
I take 3 weeks of the pill, and then I get a week off.
And how do you feel on that currently?
Fine. A couple of weeks ago, I had a bout of nausea, but I'm not sure now if that's because of the meds I was taking. I think I just got I had just got sent home.
Yeah, and I'll take care of it.
Yeah, and I don't know what it was, but felt like I couldn't eat or anything like that. But I kind of pushed through that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I pushed through that and started eating again. So that nausea kind of I don't know, went away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think that's the whole of it so far. I think people ask me like how do you do it? How do you like cope with it? My personal philosophy and phrase is well, it is what it is. It's not anything that I can change or affect. I take it how it is and keep moving forward with it. So
it's kind of always been your philosophy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just more important nowadays, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we were in college, it probably didn't apply as much.
So, what would you say to people, friends or whatnot who, trying to contact you or get in touch with you, or what would you tell them as far as maybe some people are kind of on the verge about calling you or on the edge about it, as far as like, we haven't spoken in a while, what's it going to be like? What's he going to be like? What would you tell them to do?
To contact me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a person who talks a lot. So usually it has to take somebody else who's willing to make that contact, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not naturally gonna wake up and say, "Oh, I need to call this person."
Mm-hmm.
So for anybody who wants to talk to me or whatnot, yeah, I would say just call me up.
Do you have any expectations from this point out?
As far as
the effects of your treatment, or what you're looking to see in the coming months?
Well, hopefully, if there are no more medical issues, as far as like something going wrong and me going to the emergency room, I'd like to, work with therapy. Probably wouldn't see any major effects until the tumor itself is gone. Because right now it's on my spine. I don't know if I said that or whatever, but and that's what caused me to get worse in terms of moving my limbs and stuff. I think I should point out, when it comes to, I guess, dealing with me or talking with me, my ears still work the same. And no matter how close people are, I still can't see them. Because I get people who, I guess because of my condition, think I can't hear that well. And think,
yelling at you will be.
Yeah. So I get close talkers who talk really loud. And usually, if I'm in a wheelchair, I can't escape it. And their breath is usually pretty bad. I don't understand how a medical person has such bad breath. Like, you'd think a doctor would brush their teeth. Or use some mouthwash.
That's fun. And you'd think they would know that they don't need to do that with you, right?
Right, yeah.
Wow. I was gonna ask, like, what your day mostly consists of, what your days mostly consist of now. What do you do for fun? What do you do to stay entertained and things like that, you know?
Yeah, mostly, I'll listen to the news. I'll listen to a book on Audible. And speaking of which, if anybody out there has suggestions, let me know. Because right now I'm kind of just re-listening and stuff. But besides that, my parents who take care of me.
To see us run up and down the stairs. Like to wait until we go sit down and then call us.
I don't intentionally.
You have to add that. You wait until we leave the room to ask us to come back. Yeah.
No, those are different. Usually, other times.
Yeah, those are the fun pastimers. Yeah.
Usually,
it's entertainment.
Usually, I wait till I can hear one of them. Then I'll call them. Yeah, but besides that, kind of not much.
Okay. Anything else we can think of?
I missed the ending part about his expectations. What you guys were agreeing on. What did Kris say?
I was talking about regaining functionality.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, kind of like your goal, I guess. That was what we were talking about, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I guess we could kind of end it with, what message do you have to people who may be going through something similar?
Well, yeah, it's again, I would tell them it is what it is. It's not anything you can change. It's kind of pointless to ask yourself, why is this happening? It's already happening. So, the only thing positive to do is to move forward through it, I guess. So, I mean, obviously my advice would be tailored for who I'm talking to, but I mean, that's the essence of it.
Is there one particular thing that helps you get to your positive point?
No, I wouldn't say not one particular thing. I guess one is the mindset of it, I guess. The mindset that I have of it. And I guess me having a religious background and kind of going off there. Yeah, I think that sort of developed it, I guess.
Okay.
I'd just like to say you look marvelous. To say that you've been through all of what you've been through. I mean, you got that cool Wolverine look going, and yeah, you may have a new hairdo, but your skin is great. Your weight is great. You look marvelous.
But by the way, I weigh 176.
Yeah.
176. Yeah, I mean, and I'll say too, like I'm still just incredibly just proud of how you've handled everything, and you know, even on this recording, it's been very cool to get your perspective and just see how you've taken it in stride and moved on and kept pushing forward. So that's an incredible example, I think, for people who might be listening to this.
Well, it might have helped that I listed things pretty matter of factly.
True. Yeah. Definitely.
But I don't have emotional attachments to those things. So again, like once they're happening, I won't say that I haven't said I haven't asked why. But that doesn't last for a very long time. I kind of, if I ask that, I kind of move on from it.
All right.
That's on the interject? You don't have anything to interject?
I kind of asked. I asked the best question, so it's just good to see that he still has the energy to speak about the experience and that you still care to share it with other people who might be going through the same thing, and share with your family and friends of what you've been through. Because I guess looking at you can't always tell the whole story, and so this, I think, is a really good idea, and I think it'll work well on everyone grasping the whole of it.
And if you want to contact Kris, number is what?
708-606-6808. And the email address, although keep in mind that I'm blind.
You'll get read to him.
I'm a blind man with the email address. KrisDHaney@gmail.
All right. KrisDHaney@gmail.com. All
yeah.
right. Well, thank you, Kris. Signing off. Here we go.